What's up, my beautiful cucumbers? We're here to burn it down. We're here to stay positive. We're here in New York. We're here in Virginia. We're in Puerto Rico. We're coming to you live, global, all over the world. I am here to connect each and every one of you to the beautiful spirits of Tom Cheshire, Corrie Lynn Green, the voice of the valley. We're here to get into it. We had some amazing moments backstage. We're going to have even more amazing moments here for everybody. So tune in, get ready to stay positive no matter what you're going through. We are here and we've got each other's backs. I want to bring up my partner in rhyme, T Chesh, bucket of fish, bucket of fish, bucket of fish. Here's my brother, Tom Cheshire.
You are legend.
I did
When
it.
they,
I did the Tom Cheshire.
when they do an after-school special on me, biopic of T Chesh, I want you to play me.
I need the beard. I need the beard.
A little
That
bit
was
of broad
fun. That was
shoulders. We'll
fun.
give you. We'll send you a couple of pairs of high-water Dickies and like a blue sock fisherman's cap.
I
Oh
love
my
it.
goodness,
I love
brilliant!
it.
I love
Okay.
that every show is so different. And
Yeah.
we were backstage having a really good time. Then I got yelled at by Renee because the conversation was so beautiful with
Too
our guests.
good. It was
Oh my
too
goodness.
good. I
That
hate
was
when that
so
happens, man.
that was so good. Shout out to Sandy D and our sponsors A&F. There's so much we want to tackle. Shout out to DJ Miowski. Shout out to all our beautiful brothers and sisters in CCTV land who host shows. Shout out to everyone who's part of the I Choose Awesome Dream and team, the street team. Shout out to James and Cassie, 3 on the ones and twos. Shout out to everyone who woke up today and said, listen, not today, Satan. We got this.
That's right. Not today, Satan. And also tell the truth, shame the devil. That's what we're here to do. We're here to tell the truth. And the truth is so much better than a lot of people want to say it is. There's so much
Yes.
good in the world. If it bleeds, it leads. Everyone just talks about all the things that get all that negative attention. The algorithms are rewarding negative things, controversy, offensive stuff. We're here to change how the algorithms work. We want to give positivity the spotlight.
That's right. And this is the thing. If you want to find faults, if you want to find bad things, I guarantee you don't have to look past this block that I'm on.
It's
But if you want
easy.
to find good things, I know it. I know. I believe. You know what the reality is. Sometimes you just got to believe.
Mhm.
I know you can find the good things too, because I know there's 3 awesome souls that are about to burn it down right now. So who do we got in the house?
We got the voice of the valley, live from Virginia. You know her, you love her. She's incredible. She's a songwriter, she's a vocalist. She plays the banjo. She's worked with some incredible names like Doug Fern and all that. We're going to get into it. She's recording, she's a touring artist, and most of all, my favorite part about her is that she's a gorgeous human being inside and out.
She
Actually,
is.
to me,
Yes.
that's one of my it's so hard to find someone that talented who's actually really
Yes.
humble and
She's
really
like
down to
this
earth.
not 9-trick pony,
Nine trick
and I
pony.
feel like a 1-trick pony sometimes. She really is. It's unbelievable.
All right. So here's Corey Lynn Green. Bucket of fish, bucket of fish, bucket of fish. Yeah.
We love
Ah,
we love making
love
the
you.
guest blush, but the best thing is we're just telling nothing but truths, baby. 100%.
Oh,
Telling the truth. That's right.
you guys are the best. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for saying all those wonderful things.
We
So
love you.
we've been trying to have you on actually for a while. We need to let our viewers know we have been trying to have you on for a while, but you are this incredulously busy person, which nothing but love and respect for that. And your
Yeah.
Monday evenings were so busy. So thank you for making the time for doing this with us. And then we're backstage, and I go, I can't believe this is actually the first time we're actually meeting and talking like face to face. But I feel like I know you.
Yes, I feel like I know you. One day I stumbled upon you reading a poem. It's never happened before or since. I'm sure lots of people, I mean, now I know to look out for it, but it was totally random. I didn't know you at all. And what you were saying was so incredibly meaningful to me that I just thought, who is this person that's moving me with poetry? I like to move with songs, but I truly was blown away. And
Oh,
it was incredible. You were in a park, you were in a parking lot. I mean, I won't forget it. It was really wild. So I'm really happy to be on your show, and always to be with Renee, who I consider a friend, and
Yes.
yes.
really
Well,
supported me
thank
through
you.
this journey.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Mind blowing. But we really are huge fans of yours. I have followed you, and I love everything you've been doing. And we were talking a little bit a little bit about this. Excuse me, backstage. It's like, how does it feel when you have this idea and it's just like this? It's like this little rock, and then you hold on to it and you manifest it, and that rock gets big, and the next thing you know, you're recording with these people that you looked up to. I've been lucky enough to have this happen a couple of times, and it's like then you not only that person's in your phone, and they're not only like this person that is you looked up to them. They were a hero. They inspired you. Then they're a mentor. Now they're a peer and a friend, and then you're on stage with them.
Yeah, yeah, it's been an incredible couple of years. It's been a really incredible year of those kinds of yeah, maybe I believe it's manifestation that has occurred, because I just kept taking the next step, and the next step was saying yes and walking through doors. And yes, I got opportunities, but it seemed like little opportunities would come, and I would face them with enthusiasm, and then I would walk through that door, and then there'd be something else, and I could choose to say yes or no, and I just kept saying yes. And I think I'm hoping that we all have an opportunity to say those yeses. I was scared a lot of the time, but
Yeah,
I think being scared is like part of the energy, right? And
Yeah.
then
I love it. Yeah,
and then you say, "Oh, I'm doing this. Maybe I'm doing it poorly. I have no idea." You look to your mentors and the people who are willing to like take you along on the ride, and you learn and you listen,
right.
and hopefully you just get to keep doing that. And I also say, whenever that's over, that's just fine, because I got to do that and I got to experience that.
Yeah,
So I'm really
yeah.
grateful.
I love that, and thank you. And that's also really, really excellent advice because um, who knows? You could be doing it this one way and then find out that it's the wrong way, but
Yeah.
something beautiful happens. We call them these pretty accidents, and everything is a learning experience. So you're gonna, we kind of got into this thing backstage, and Renee and I have touched on this on several shows, and it's like sometimes we get in our own head and we're our worst enemy. And it's like, I think,
Mhm.
and no one's ever going to admit it, but we're
Yeah.
sometimes more scared of success than failure. Like, oh,
Yeah.
it's easily for me to say, I'm not going to do that. I got something going on that weekend. Reality is I'm nervous to perform by myself in front of 200 people, whatever. Well, how about
Mhm.
go into those uncharted waters and do it? And even if you play a wrong note, if the passion's there, you will connect with people.
Yeah, I think that's it in a nutshell, because I think there have been plenty of times when I've been really, really frightened, and sometimes that fear holds me back from performing in the way that I want to. I feel like I've gotten through that in this last year, but I think doing it anyway, right? I mean, that's a really important like thing. Just continuing to do it, realizing in hindsight that it was probably okay. It's just your own self doubt is,
Right,
hold. And if you can just sort of say, yeah, I feel that, or I have that fear, but I'm going to do this anyway. I'm going to face this. I'm
Mhm.
going to do it even if it's really painful. I think if you keep pushing into those spaces, sometime, I didn't know this would be true because I had terrible stage fright for a very long time, but
yeah,
sometime you actually can get to a place where you get to the other side of that and you go, wow, I didn't know that was possible, but I just kept going and saying, oh, that was probably not my best show. And you have enough people saying, it was great. And you just
yeah,
take those. And anything negative, I mean, I've also heard no,
yeah.
no, 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 no a million times, and just like, okay, ignore those, say yes to the
Right,
yes, and then
right.
just keep going. And like eventually it becomes like, yeah, I do have this, and maybe I do have something to say, and there's three people over here that say yes. I do hear you, and I needed to
Mhm.
hear that. And that's all you need. All you need is one. All you need is
Right.
one, you know,
Are you,
and believe, you know, in
Yeah.
yourself.
are you guys out there taking notes? Because I am taking notes.
I
And let
am
me tell you,
in my brain.
Renee Yaworsky, now I'm imitating Renee Yaworsky. You're going to be so proud of me. This is my Dennis Tardon moment. Ready? Did you guys hear that? Go with it. Even if it is painful, go with it. Even if it is painful.
It's
Yes,
so true
yes,
though,
yes.
because
But
I really
it's
did.
such good, it's brilliant advice, and
Yes.
it's sound advice. You know, um,
Yeah.
you know,
You're
um,
making me cry. I'm gonna send this to Dennis. Hi, Dennis.
yes, you're talking about, you know, thank you so much again for seeing me, here. And, you're talking about me reading some of those poems, and some of them were written like, 10 years ago when I clearly wasn't, let's just say I wasn't as balanced. I'm in a pretty good place these days.
Good.
Um, but my anxiety and my depression sometimes got the best of me back then. And so they really are stream of consciousness, some of
Yeah.
those poems. So as I'm reading them sometimes, maybe with a couple of glasses of bad, cheap gas station red wine in me in a park like you saw me. I
Yes.
may be revisiting those places, and I'm pausing at places because I'm about to cry. So you
Yes.
might have actually caught me at one of those moments. And I love when, listen, it's so beautiful to do that. And it's so open and honest. And I'm like, yeah, man, this is a big dude. And if he could cry, everyone could cry. And
Yeah.
I love that. And I love when we pull that out of ourselves and we put it in song, and then we get on stage. And I've seen you do it. And your songs tell such awesome stories. They really,
Yeah.
really do. Thank you so much for your songs.
Well, and thank you for your artistry. I think I've also been learning that becoming an artist and what we're all doing, maybe it's not going to make us rich or something, right? But I'm starting to understand how important it really is. Like when I saw you reciting poetry, or when I've connected with one of Renee's songs,
Hmm.
it's usually in a moment where there's something is stripped back, right? We
Right.
reveal something about ourselves that's really vulnerable. I know that for sure with the poem because, I came in and I was like, oh, who is this person? And this feeling that I understand, right? And we connect. And I especially think now there is so much negativity, and my songs aren't all like super positive, but they're all like a therapy, right? Walking
Right.
through something that you might understand, that you might have felt, that I have felt, or I felt
Right.
alone. Now I sing it and you say, I felt that way. When I wrote that song Anxiety, a
I
stranger
love
reached out
that.
and said, I had no idea that anyone else felt all these things.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
And it was like, of course, those things weren't all about me. A few of them were, and some of them were about people that I knew. But to have somebody that I didn't know just say, wow, I was really having a bad time, and I heard that and I felt less alone. I mean, that's
Yeah.
art, and that's what we're doing,
Oh
and
my goodness.
staying vulnerable in this world and connected in this world. I just feel like this is what we're here to do, right? And so I'm trying to do that every time I have a
And
live
that's part of
audience now.
And that's
Yes.
part of that's part of your payback. That's the
Yeah.
payment. I
Yeah.
love that in your songs. I wouldn't say your songs. I think I could feel anxiety in some. I mean, and Renee, I'd like to get your opinion because I know you. Renee's so good at covering songs too. Like she
Yeah.
just had.
Thank
She's
you.
so Renee's so worldly. I said we're going to find out that Renee was this Zelig and she was hanging out with Gandhi a couple of times.
How do you
She
know?
played keyboards. She played
100%.
keyboards with the Monkees, then the Turtles. She
Mhm.
also was hanging out with MLK Jr. the night before he was shot and told him, "Don't go out on that hotel,
I said,
balcony." Like this.
don't go to men. Don't do it.
And she's so worldly. She's like, "Don't listen. Memphis isn't good for you."
Don't do
But
Memphis. No.
so I hear anxiety in the way you write them. Okay. But in the delivery, I hear, and this is all a compliment, by the way, and I try to do the same in mine, is the sadness and solace. And solace is my favorite word in the English dictionary. To me, it's to find comfort and discomfort, so there's
Yeah.
hope. So it's like sadness, solace, but then like light at the end of the tunnel. So I kind of
Yeah.
find your song almost weirdly happy.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And
I mean,
I'm
what do you
glad to
think?
hear
What
that
do you
because
think, Ray? What do
I
you think,
don't,
Renee?
yeah, I do. I don't always know how it comes off, but for me, there's, it's on paper and then it's out of me. And
Right.
and yeah, when I hear it, it's peaceful. It brings me peace.
Right.
When I read heavy books, when I hear a poem that's really intense, that all brings me peace because isn't there an intensity burning inside of all of us? I mean, I think
Yeah.
there is. It's just we're either too scared to share it, or we don't want to be vulnerable, or we're not willing to like go there, or we don't want to cry, or it's just too hard. And I just don't want to wear any shields anymore, And so these
Right.
Oh,
songs
wow.
are me being totally open.
I love that. And the thing is too, is like, so Tom has story songs, like, I'm not messing around or whatever.
Yeah,
He does story
love
songs.
that song.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My whole life, people have said to me, Renee, do story songs. Cause I write books and stories, fiction, and then I write songs, but
Yeah.
I was
You're a
influenced by
great
like,
storyteller.
thank you. But when it came to songs, I was more of like the Michael Stipe, like stream of consciousness. So like, it's hard for me to write a story song. Corrie Lynn Green
Yeah.
I think she exemplifies what you as well, Tom Cheshire, but Corey Lynn Green, really almost every song is a straight arrangement.
It
Is
is.
a
It is.
song that
It
is
tells you. It tells
incredible with
you.
a
It tells
story.
you like
Tells you
a
everything you
day
need
in
to
the
know.
a day in the life
Yeah,
of
a
this
day in
thing.
the life, and she just takes you through all of those emotions. And you're right. There's like solace, and then there's like fear, like trouble.
Light at
It
the
is
end
a
of the
murder
tunnel.
ballad, and there's always the light at the end of the tunnel. Somehow, arrangement ends with kind of that discordant, hopeful light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
Maybe like it's just interesting how she writes song. And shame is another one I want to touch on
Oh, I
because
love that. Yeah.
shame just it like for me, I hear it in my head a lot. So she explores parts of the human experience that I think aren't typically always represented in songs, and she finds
Yeah.
a new way of
That's a good point.
exploring human stories. But I want to get back real quick before I forget. She talked about yes, saying yes. I'm huge on that, saying yes. And I think what Tom said
Yeah.
really resonated too. We hide behind the coattails of people because we're afraid of our own greatness more than we are of failure. So we just
Right.
keep saying no. We keep saying no, and we'll say things like, "Oh, it's because of self-care," or "It's because you hide behind like, well, my family wouldn't be able to support me
Right.
if I did that." But really, it's like we're afraid to say yes and to stand out on that stage. And Corey Lynn has shown me in the world, especially like she
Mhm.
said in the last 2 years, what it looks like when you keep saying yes. And so
Oh
she's
my
not even
goodness.
on an ascent anymore. She's already there. Like we
Yeah,
were saying a year ago,
she's
she's
playing
ascending.
really
She's already
cool
there.
festivals. I mean, when
Yeah,
I see you on
amazing
stage,
live
yeah.
performances. Yeah,
Well, and that's the other thing, and that's part of what we're trying to do with this show is because we are all in this together, and it's like um, all we want to do is see, and we're rooting for everyone. We want to see people strive, and we want to see them thrive, and we want to see
yeah,
them kill it. And I know everyone operates at a different speed, but just know this: you will get there. And reach out to your friends and lean on your friends. I know I've grown so much as an artist, but I also think as just a human. And every day you try to be a better one because of you, Renee, because of
yeah.
Corey Lynn Green, because of people I've met through these wonderful brother and sister channels. The past couple of years, we talk about this. We kind of for a minute didn't know, is the world going to stand still? What's going on with this life? Well, I got news for you. I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing. We're just going to do it a different route. And that's how you grow as a human. And while you're at it, you're
Yeah,
doing charity and you're there for your friends and
yeah,
you're lifting each other up. And if you and when you're talking about that saying yes, if you're looking for a reason to say no, like a good excuse, you probably come up with four really good excuses
of
that they'll be
course.
like, he's got stuff going on, man,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But how
Right.
about you say, listen, I'm gonna do this. And even if I fall down, I'm doing it. I'll do a somersault.
Yeah.
you know.
And
Yep.
let's I think this is such an important show. I mean, I love this premise of like positivity. Let's talk about
Mhm.
jealousy and envy for a second though.
Yeah,
Please,
please,
please.
please.
I was
Oh, this is
yes. That's
wonderful.
my
Yeah.
girl. She
Let's
knows. All right.
I
She
let's
mean,
knows.
I
talk about that
love
for a
this.
second.
Love this. Love this.
Because I think that it's really important to say some things. It can be really hard and challenging to be sitting at home watching someone else succeed when you have dreams. Um, And I
Right.
think one thing that we don't often like recognize, jealousy and envy are things, those are human emotions that are
Sure.
completely normal to have. The difference I think between jealousy and envy is you look at someone and you think, I want what they have, I want something there, and you wish for it, and maybe you try to go get it. And jealousy is the other thing where you want what someone has and you're angry that they have it.
That's like
And I think
malicious.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, and I think it's really important to like separate those things, to recognize that they're
Mhm.
both real.
Thank you.
One is sort of a negative and one can be a real positive. So I have felt those things before when I'm watching someone else, really take off and really fly. And I think, I'm working so hard and I'm striving so hard. We're all working so hard and striving so hard. And I think the reason I want to touch on that is because I want to like build some acceptance around those emotions that have come up for people as they have watched me strive for things that
Yeah.
make me fly away, and just to say it's okay, and I hear that and I feel that, and also just keep going. Your door is not the same as my door, and there are
Wow.
doors for you to go through. You just have to
Wow.
completely open up and say, okay, Corrie's doing this and I'll support you. And like Renee has supported me. And like, there's nothing between us, right? It's like, I want
Yeah.
to see her do well and she wants to see me do well. And then we facilitate. So if we can all, especially in this group, do that for one another, and just
Wow.
know that I'm here to lift you up, even though you see me going in this direction. I'm not gone. I'm
Right.
just fulfilling the doors that are opening for me. I'm fulfilling my own dreams, and I'm going to say yes. And it's okay if there are no's, and if it's okay if I have to like wait a while. And I've been in those places too. So I don't want you to feel alone in those places. And I know that that's come up before where it's like, well, she's got all these opportunities. I did work really hard. I also had a lot of luck
Great.
and feel all those things, but like then put it away and get out of the way of those emotions, because you have work
Right.
to do and you have dreams that you can live, and maybe they don't look like mine, but there's something. So keep going.
Yeah, wow. I mean, usually it takes to the end of the episode for me to scream grand slam, but damn,
This is a grand
grand
slam.
slam. I mean,
Yeah.
Renee,
MVP
you're
right here.
absolutely right. And and when you talk about this luck thing and hard work, I've always heard the term luck is preparation meets timing, or timing meets preparation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say this, because I've had people ask me for advice on things. And I've some of them I'm close enough, and we're very close that we can be very honest. I'd be like, well, to be honest with you, I saw an opportunity come up not too long ago, and you weren't prepared for it, and you were spending too much time being actually angry and
Yeah.
saying bad things and being jealous about other people, what they were doing, and
Yes.
you had an opportunity to hit a grand slam right there. And if
Yeah.
you would have come to me, I would have loved to have helped you with that.
Yeah.
This show just went to another level.
It went to
Uh,
11. Yeah.
and by the way, I love the way you said it, because you're letting everyone know whatever feelings you have, it is okay, because we're just
Yeah.
human. But the one
Yeah.
thing you don't want to have is malice or these bad feelings, because
And
love
just
is all around,
don't get
and
stuck.
Mm-hmm.
it's not competition. It's you want. I mean, this show right here. This is all of us trying to succeed together and hit
Yeah.
these grand slams.
That's right.
I
And it
absolutely love
doesn't
that.
and it doesn't mean that we're not having struggles around those positive things. It
Mm-hmm.
means that I'm shouting out the positive things and I'm holding
Yeah.
the negative things, and that's how I do life. But it doesn't mean that they don't exist, right? It's like I'm having all of those things too, and I'm also like celebrating when I fly really
Mm-hmm.
loudly, because I'm celebrating that for myself, and I'm celebrating that for the people around me, and I'm also working really hard.
It's
Right.
hard
And
work.
that's the other thing. I'm really like grinding, and I'm on the
Yeah,
road, and I'm away from my family. And so it's not just nothing, right? I mean, it's like making choices, hard choices, because I want to go in this direction of my dreams.
I
So
love it.
anyone can do that. And there are stumbling blocks that get in our way, but I feel like I've faced a lot of those stumbling blocks. So
Right.
I just want to be here as a person to say, like,
I
we can
love
rise,
it.
we can all
I,
rise, and it
I,
doesn't have to be huge. It can be small, it can be like small little ways that we get out of our own way.
And the thing about success is it's usually appreciated by other people in hindsight. What I mean by that is when you start to rise, the people closest to you, it's that whole like no prophet is welcome in his own or celebrated in his
Yeah.
own land. Everybody who's closest to you is they're afraid of that change. They don't want to lose you, like you said. They're trying to
Yep.
pull you back, make you feel guilty. So people just
Yep.
want to stay small to fit into the container that
Right.
you currently were in.
Yep.
But then if you go for it like you do, and then you fast forward a year or 2 years or whatever, and then you're actually doing it, then those same people that wanted to pull you back are like bragging about you. Oh, she
Yeah.
went for it, and I knew her and I really supported her in that moment. It's like, no, actually,
Yeah.
kind of were envious of me, but whatever.
Oh my goodness.
But it's
This
like
is
hindsight. So you got to push through that initial envy or those, like, when you're trying to like, in NASA, they're going for a launch. It's like gravity is such a powerful force, inertia, and wanting to people please all of the people around you, the closest people to you. They don't
right.
want your life to change because then that means their lives are changing. They're attached to you. But
Yeah.
once you actually do it, then they're all like, oh, yeah, I'm so proud of you. And thank you for
Right.
standing up to me. I've had people say it to me where they've argued with me. They want me to stay small, small, small. And then I do it. And then like a year later or like 6 months later, they're like, you know what? I was totally wrong. Like, thank you for believing in
Yeah.
yourself enough to
Yes.
change.
Right.
Because then I had to grow too. Because then they get to follow their dreams. Like each one of us has their own path.
And it's okay for you to go follow your dreams, and it's not at the expense of anyone.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's not at the expense of anyone.
Mm-mm.
So you go do that, and you hope that they can come with you. And if they
Yeah.
can't, you just have to kind of let go in those moments. And that can be really challenging and really hard.
Yeah.
But the people you need to be with are there. They're going to be there, and
Yeah.
then more will arrive. And as long
Right.
as you're following your heart and not harming others, as long as it's your choice for you, then you have to go. You have to go.
You have to go. You have to go.
Must.
That's your path.
Yeah. Listen, you're not doing yourself any favors unless you really do put 300% into it anyway. That's the
That's
only
right.
way you're going to
That's
see
the only way.
it's something, and so, and we talk about this, and I talk about this book all the time, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And I mean, he's the first person who wrote about PMA, positive mental attitude, and then you got fans like Bad Brains quoting him. But he's like, listen, everyone celebrates all these people for their successes, but they really should celebrate Einstein and Henry Ford for the 75 failures before their success.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the stuff.
Right.
That's the stuff
That's
this
right.
is made of,
That's right.
And speaking of those words, I'm taking notes like crazy right now. But 3 words that we have written on our door in TCB Studios in Atlanta that my assistant D wrote down, and I absolutely love it. And it says, fear, hate, and jealousy. Those words are not allowed to be used in this office
Yes.
ever. And
Love
I don't
it,
care
yeah.
if you use another word, but if it's coming across like that, we're going to say, go get a cup of coffee and walk around the block 3 times and let's meet in 20 minutes and talk. Because we are trying to TCB, we're trying to take care of business, we're trying to
Don't have time for
spread
that.
love,
Yeah, we don't
spread
have
love
time.
and positivity and the I Choose Awesome movement. And it all goes hand in hand with everything we're trying to do with CCTV, with our songs, with our performances. We're trying to create a legacy here, and it's a positive one. And it's about charity and paying it forward rich with music and arts and entertaining people and inspiring them they'll go on and do music or do a show and maybe pay it forward and do something good for someone else.
And you know what, Tom? If those words are coming up in the studio, then the person that those words are coming up for should just go self-reflect.
That's right.
Because there's something there that belongs to them. Right. And it doesn't belong to you or the studio. It belongs to them. And if it's because it feels jealous or whatever that stuff is, then what is it that you need?
Right.
What do I need? I'm watching you rise and I feel jealous. What do I need? I must need something.
Right.
Go figure out
And by the way, there's absolutely nothing wrong with calling your friend up and saying, I'm so stoked for you. I'm so excited to watch what's going on with you. You got any tips for me? Because I kind of want to go in that direction. Can you help me? And here's the other thing, and Renee and I talk about this as well. And by the way, this episode is brilliant. Like this is
Yeah,
insane.
it's a masterclass. It's a masterclass. It's not
Renee,
even
this
a
is the best
show.
class.
It's not even a show anymore.
How do you tell people when this stuff's going down? You go, well, clearly your problem isn't with these people in the room. Your problem,
Yeah.
unfortunately, is with you right now in your own head. And we would love to see that change because we want to see you happy and find that solace and be at peace. And we want to see you sing and scream and go rollerblade and do backflips and jump off, jump into the lake and just have a party. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and sing songs and hug and high five people.
What do you need and how can we help? What do you need and how can we help? And lots of people have, done that for me too. What do you need?
Totally.
We go through times of sadness, of despair, of self-doubt,
Right.
but what do you need to get your security? What do you need to keep moving forward? Don't get stuck. I do think especially in this community, there are people that will help raise you up, but then you got to do it. Then you got to do it.
But what also is healthy too, when you guys were talking, it just occurred to me, I was like, it's also really healthy that if you're close to someone, or even if you're not that close, if you're having those feelings of you're watching them rise and you're starting to feel like some kind of way about it, I think it's always really nice to turn that into a compliment. And I've done that before to people, and I'll say, gosh, I'm so jealous. Like, come on, man, like you're rising so much. Take me with you, like, come on, man. Yeah. And then they beam, they love it because you're being honest about it in a positive way instead of just like locking it in your heart and then trying to like pull them down, which takes so much more energy. You should be spending that energy on your own liftoff. Come on, guys.
Right.
Smart. It's just being smart.
Right now, I could be like, damn it, Corrie Lynn Green, take Renee and I to one of these festivals.
What the hell, Corrie Lynn Green? Why are you doing all these lives?
You can come.
I took a 5-minute nap. I took a 5-minute nap before we did this show. And I had this beautiful little dream of the three of us at one of these festivals, and we started doing wagon wheel, and they're like, no one does wagon wheel.
No more wagon wheel. Although I love
wagon wheel's not allowed. Wagon wheel's not allowed. No stairway to heaven and no wagon wheel.
That's right. Don't do that.
Yeah, I already.
No stairway to heaven, no wagon wheel. That is so.
Those dreams are totally possible too. Like I look at 2024 and I think, okay, 2023, I just created that and I got lucky, but I created that, decided what I wanted that to look like. And I applied for those things and I worked really hard at like badgering people to let me do it. And then they did. And then 2024 is kind of the same thing where I'm like, okay, who do I want to play with in 2024? And what do I want that to look like? And what shows would I like to be in? And what festivals? And even applying to ones that they're definitely going to say no. But, like, why not apply and just say, hey, I'm here and this is what I'm trying for and I have a story to tell and a million other musicians do too. But why don't you look at me and just not letting go, ever kind of creep in, just be like, well, okay, that didn't, what else is there? And so who knows? I think we could end up on stage together at any point. And,
listen, we're manifesting that right now. Actually, this is a really interesting thing. Just thinking about this now, but I was just talking to my brother on the phone a couple of hours ago. That is such a good point. Like, even if you're saying you apply for these festivals, you can't get in. So my brother is a beautiful, talented writer, and he's written some books that have done very well, like New York Times bestsellers lists and stuff, But his early years when he was writing, he was so depressed, and he started telling me, he goes, I'm collecting my letters that they say, no, we don't want you. But he goes, but when the letters get more involved and they say, like, it's 2 paragraphs saying, we're not interested in you, but we love what you said here. He goes, my letters of them shutting me down are getting better. And he goes, and that means I'm reaching people, because in the beginning it was like, Scott Cheshire, we cannot use you. Scott Cheshire, thank you for submitting, but we are not interested. Scott Cheshire, we liked what you said, but you are a little bit of an angry person. We aren't submitting like this right now.
I have a great no story. I have a great no story. So this year, I won't name the place, but this year I played at a place that I had always wanted to play. It was just idyllic in my mind. I'd seen a million amazing bands there, and it was a really hard stage to get onto. And I had reached out to the guy before my time, before I was ready. And I had said, I just want to play like a daytime show. I don't even want a nighttime show. I just want a daytime show. And he immediately said no, like just flat no. And then I'm like, oh, okay, well, thanks for your consideration and whatever. And a little time went by and I had a little more material and I reached out again and I said, I think I'm really growing here. And he said, I'm not interested. And I said, okay, well, thanks for that. And maybe I did that 3 or 4 times. And eventually he said, if you're being serious, like if you're being serious, here are the things you'd have to accomplish to do that. And it was like 2 pages of like, you would see me, baby, and stuff I've never even heard of before. And then maybe you could play a daytime show, maybe for lunch, and so eventually, I got lucky and I got picked up by a producer and all those things happened for me. And so eventually, years down the road, I reached back out to the guy and I said, hey, I did all the things you said. I checked off everything on this list that you made and I'm ready to come to my daytime show. And he said, no. And I was just so frustrated. But all that to say that this year I wore him down, and it wasn't like a one-time thing. It was like, I'll let you come and only at noon, to like, I guess you can be a duo, to like, because I don't want to play banjo by myself. I want a guitarist. Okay, I guess, to like, okay, you can have a trio, to like, okay, the whole band can come, to okay, you can have two days, 2 shows. And so anyway, all that to say, I had a miracle show. I had these 2 amazing shows, and somebody in the audience that I knew surprised me and came to see me. And she was another musician. And so after the shows are over and I'm just totally elated, I sit down with her and she was like, it's so cool that you got to play here. I've applied here. And the guy was just so mean to me and he just said, no. And I said, yeah. And she's like, no, I mean to say, like, no. I was like, yeah, no, let me tell you a story. And I tell her all that about how long it took me years to get this yes from this dude. And she was like, wow, I had no idea. I never wrote him back.
Right. See, that's a great inspirational, that's a great inspiring story.
And then she just recently reached out and said, thank you again for telling me that story, because I reached out to that guy and he told me he's not interested, which was the second thing that happened to me.
Yeah.
And so she's like, thank you for telling me that story, because I felt like I was really ready and now I'm not completely devastated, and I said, just keep going. Just keep going. You can break down that wall.
Well,
so that's the no.
Thank you for sharing that. That is so inspiring. So like my brother Scott, your rejection letters got better and longer, and you kept on fighting back and sending more stuff. And you end up not only playing, but you're like, no, I'm not doing this by myself. I'm bringing a band and I'm going to kick ass. That is God, that is so beautiful.
Yeah. And then I did kick ass. And then I felt like this sense of like, this was for me. It wasn't for the audience or for that guy. It was for me. This is a stage I wanted to play on. And like, also you can learn and listen. And at some point, years down the road, maybe you'll be ready. Maybe you'll be ready. And like, and I think it was the exact right timing, and I was ready. And like, I was ready to be on that stage and just to lay it all out there and to share. And now I've got this other musician in my life who's like, was really getting beaten down by this. And now I'm like, oh no, you're good enough. You're just, it's going to take time.
Yeah, and maybe even hang up a couple of those rejection letters to inspire you every morning. I mean, there's so many things that you can do to inspire yourself, and every person's brain and heart and crotch is different.
Yeah.
I have a certain thing that I do. Renee has a certain thing that she does. But man, that is a badass story. Thank you for sharing
I love that story. And Ed Sheeran was just on Howard Stern, and he said, look, when I was 16 or whatever it was, he said, I came out with a single on my own and it was objectively bad. And then a year and a half later, I came out with, and he mentioned his global success. And Howard said, yeah, you're telling us the first one was really bad, but like, that's probably not true. And Ed Sheeran said, no, play it.
It's
It was
bad. Yeah.
he couldn't even sing. Like it was that
Right.
bad.
I'm
Like you'd have to
telling
just
you, I'm
your
telling
head.
you, I have grown since the
Yeah.
pandemic. I wasn't really
Yeah.
singing, I was just songwriting, and I really have some bad stuff out there. And then I have
Yep.
that first album, which for me was just totally amazing. But in November, I'm putting out my second album, and it
Right.
is, I mean, beyond the first one. It's the first one
Right.
is really clever and really good for where I was, but this one is just like golden, you know.
I
And
love
Yeah.
I love it.
I hope every album is that way, where you go, oh my God, I learned so much, and
I hope
I'm
so.
new
I
and
hope
fresh.
Every footstep forward in our life as humans, as people, as brothers, as sisters, as
Yeah.
sons, as husbands, wives, whatever, you know, as friends to each other, three of us, and then musically, whatever, should be something forward that you're moving
Yeah.
and getting better at it. Like it makes no sense to not be better.
Like
We're
Willie
here to
Nelson is
grow.
coming out with some of the best stuff ever. Like Tanya Tucker is
I
coming out with
love
the best stuff ever. Like
I
some of
love
these
I
people
love
are coming out with better stuff now, like in their 90s
Yeah.
or whatever. And it's
Yeah.
like that's true, but actually that's a compliment, because if we weren't always getting better, and if our previous stuff didn't suck, you know, in our own
Yeah.
minds
Right.
now, then we wouldn't be progressing. We would just hit a plateau, hit a wall.
Yeah.
So it's actually a
Right.
compliment to ourselves that
And I
Yeah.
believe it was
more.
I believe it was Einstein that said, if you're not learning every day, you're not living.
Yeah.
Right.
By the way, I could be wrong. One thing we do get wrong on the show is who we quote. I mean, I get a lot of it wrong, but I know
It's
that they're
endearing.
good
It's
quotes. I
endearing.
just
Well,
don't know who said them.
you can quote me. I'm gonna just say, fail away. You know, fail
Yeah.
Fail
away.
away. I love
Fail
that.
away.
Like,
I mean,
Yeah.
love it.
it's there's been so much
Mhm.
failure and embarrassment and fear and self-doubt.
Yeah.
But I am not there right now. I mean,
Right.
I am not in that space. I am like, yeah, you did great. Yeah, you worked hard. Yeah,
Mhm.
you were on that stage. What if this is the only time you're here? Be here,
Right.
totally present,
Be
and
present,
be in this
appreciate it.
moment
Yeah.
and float away. And so maybe I'll fail again, but like for now, just check off the successes and put them in
Yeah.
your purse for when times get hard, and pull them out and go, wow, I was really striving, and I was alive, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I got like chills from this
Yeah.
episode, from this conversation, and also I love Renee's intro as T Chesh.
We're gonna have to snip that. That was hilarious. That was fun. I do want to say, because Gregory Gannon mentioned this about you flying a plane, Corrie Lynn, and I did want
Oh
to
yeah.
hear about that. That's like so inspiring. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
So before you
Yeah,
go,
well,
please tell us about the plane real
So
quick.
my producer has a plane, and so I mean, which sounds ridiculous saying that out loud, but so occasionally I get to have these, you know, private experiences where I'm being flown where we're going to and from. And yeah, so he's been generous enough to also let me be in control of flying, although I can't say that I like it that much. I think it's really scary. I mean, I'll do it.
Is it is that a two-seater plane?
Yes, it's
Okay,
I think it's
so
four-seater. I think it's a four-seater plane. It's like a Piper style plane.
yeah, I've
So
been
it's
in
really
I've been in
small.
those a couple of times, and I'm not in a hurry to get back in them again.
Yeah, I mean, and so I travel that way a lot, and I'm always just like, okay, what's going on? What's that guy saying? What's gonna so
Why
so
did I
it's
just see a
pretty-
chicken run by?
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
That's
It's
how you
pretty
know that
intense.
things have gone wrong, if you see the chicken or a
If
cow.
you
That's
see a
right.
chicken running by,
Or a
there's only
gremlin.
4 seats and a chicken
But
runs by. Yeah,
but remember, the point is that a door opened even to fly that plane, and you better just say
no, I
yes,
love it.
because I say yes every time, and I'm scared every time.
Just keep
And
saying yes.
so
Yeah.
just keep
yes.
saying
No,
yes.
you really,
Be there
you've
when
inspired me. You've inspired me before tonight. I was so excited when I told Renee that we had you on this evening. But tonight, like in person, listen to me. I sound like a 12-year-old. Like you really inspired me. No, I'm
That's
telling
how
you.
I feel around Corey all the time. I
I'm
feel
so,
like that. I'm
I'm
like
so,
freaking
I
out
mean,
right now.
and
I love you
I
guys.
love being inspired. I love being inspired and being turned on to new things, and also getting reacquainted with things that you thought you know, because I thought I knew you, but I didn't, and now I feel like I know you a bit more, and
Yeah.
it's
That's what it's all
it's
about.
just It's just so it's been so good, and we talk about this all the time because we have so much fun on the show, and it's like we really need to have you on again and talk about more things.
Yeah.
So any festivals that you want to promote, or studio time, or a record coming out?
Yeah, so I have a record coming out on November 4th, and I'm going to be doing a sort of a hometown show for all the people that have been supporting me here, private invite show only, where it's going to be in this really amazing barn in Naked Creek, which is around where I grew up. And it's going to just be an absolute treat. And the producer's going to come down from Philly, and he's going to be there helping facilitate sound. And so I'm really excited about that. And I'll have CDs, and we're talking about vinyl on that one as well. And yeah, I mean, you know, that's my big thing. I'll be at something called the Blue Plate Special in Knoxville, Tennessee, in December. And then I'm just applying for stuff and figuring out what I want the road to look like on 2024. So I appreciate, I don't know who's been watching this, but I really appreciate this audience. This is an audience that's been with me from the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's given me a lot of support and a lot of joy and a lot of happiness, and literally has said, yeah, keep going. This is really interesting. And I know that I've flown the in many ways, but I just love you guys, and I love your support, and I really appreciate you all listening. I was really excited to be on Burn It Down and to be with Tom, who's just somebody I've been watching and admiring for a long time. And always, Renee, I feel super connected to you, and I'm watching you fly too. So I really appreciate being here. And yeah, look out for my new album, which I think we're going to call In the Root Cellar, which is the stuff inside of me. So
I love that. I love that. Love that.
That's
love
a
that.
beautiful title. You're very good at titles. I'm bad at titles. She has the best
Yeah,
title.
you
Makes you want to just zero in on it. Yeah.
It's all so good, man.
I
I
have a song
imagine.
coming out October 11th, and it'll all make sense. It's called "A Cellar Full of Beats," and I think you guys are gonna love it. It's my first song that I wrote playing guitar, not banjo.
Oh wow! Oh, that's awesome! I can't wait to hear that. Oh
We'll
man,
share
that's great.
we'll share with everybody.
So good.
Yeah, this is we've been really lucky with this little show that we've been doing here. And I wouldn't have done it if Renee didn't push me, and John Phipps. So thank you. Shout out to John. Much love, brother. And then through that, we've met these wonderful people like my friend Dan Falkenthal, Rick Ammerman, people who kind of sent me notes saying, well, why don't you bring up this? Why don't you bring up that? And so sometimes we go to dark places and talk about the real stuff as an artist goes through, the anxiety and depression, but we try to end like we end on a Corrie Lynn song with a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes,
that's right.
All the time.
That's right.
All the time.
Cheers, everybody. My brother Rory's gonna be proud that I went over. It's impossible. It's impossible to go into depth in 29 minutes with these beautiful people. Renee. So love us all around.
Beautiful cucumbers.
Yes, I love that.
Tom say that.
I was telling you, I was like, is she gonna say cucumbers? We want to acknowledge again that it's Suicide Prevention Month, and sending nothing but love. We're all brothers and sisters in this together. I love the idea of musical community, camaraderie, excuse me, and brotherhood and sisterhood. And I'd be nothing without you guys. And it's fun making a difference in other people's lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you see a plane, if you hear a plane, see a plane, it might be Corrie Lynn Green
flying
over your house. Just wave anyway. Let's just pretend it. Let's just pretend that every private plane.
There's a banjo and a guitar sticking out of the back window.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
That's how it looks, actually.
That's it. I'm going to say it happened here. Ready, Renee? 16 minutes in, she hit a grand slam. Thank you so much.
Love you guys.
Thank you guys.